Hey guys, it's time for some updated tier lists. I've been asked quite a lot already when I'm going to update my tier list, so here we go. As always, I will put my tier list into 3 categories, one for SoloQ laning, one for Premade laning, and one for jungle or central, whatever you want to call it. And again, for Premates, it's all between Duo Q, Triple Q, and 5-man Q. All of those are included in the Premade tier list. And yeah, if you just want to skip through the tier list, I will obviously put chapters down so you don't have to watch the tier list you're not interested in. So let's just go ahead and start with the SoloQ lane tier list. Venusaur is still easily S tier. Even after the Penitence nerf, still quite strong. One of the best carries in the game. Gengar, just probably forgotten. I don't know. Gengar, just don't play with this character. Maybe I should just call this don't do it. Or stop doing it. Don't play with those characters. Cramorant, honestly, Cramorant has been going down like from patch to patch. I feel like he's just... Other range attackers are getting buffed a bit, and he's just kind of forgotten, I feel like, as well. I think I would put him somewhere between here, honestly. But yeah, probably still better than a Gengar in lane. Mr. Mime, still one of the best laners in the game, easily S tier. Snorlax, so this is the tier, strong if your team is good. Let me explain it very fast. This doesn't mean those characters are bad. Those characters are absolutely insane if your teammates are on the same level or a tiny bit better than your opponents. Then those characters can snowball the game very hard and make your team, or like they can be enhancing your team's victory by a lot. But as straight up solo queue characters, if you're solo queuing up and just picking this character every single game, you might have a hard time. So since you don't know how good your teammates are, but if your team comp looks great and you feel like, oh, my team, they're picking competent characters, maybe I'm just gonna play Snorlax or something, right? So this doesn't mean these characters are bad. This means these characters are anywhere between S and C tier pretty much. Like, that's what it means. They can be anywhere. It just depends on how good your team is. That's why they're not really made for solo queue, right? But they're still great characters. Gardevoir, honestly, still better than Gengar, but after the last nerf, like, I would have put Gardevoir here, probably last patch. But now that she got nerfed already, probably somewhere between here as well. Psyshock got nerfed quite hard, which I think was the only ability you should play in lane. If you play Future Sight Gardevoir, you probably should put her in the jungle. So they hit her Psyshock quite hard. I still think it's kind of fine. If you want to play Gardevoir, it's not terrible. Having the level 5 power spike is still quite good. So I'm going to put it somewhere here. Absol, I mean, you guys know me. I like my Lane Absol. Honestly, one of the most underrated solo queue characters there is. Absolutely insane. Has good laning phase, has early good power spikes. Can snowball games quite hard. But it can also, like, I think I would put it somewhere between here, right, as well. Between S and A tier. Let's just put it into lower S tier for now. Garchomp. Garchomp still has kind of the same issues. I'm still going to put him into C tier for now. It's just not a good laner. Unless you know how to play him correctly. Which only maybe one person knows how to do it correctly. You guys all know who I mean. But yeah. Garchomp still struggles quite a bit, especially after they removed his crit from his dragon abilities. Maybe C is a bit too harsh, but yeah, still has just not good laning at all. Lucario still easily S tier, without doubt. So Crustle, actually Crustle I had last patch in here, but honestly Crustle has dropped quite a lot. They removed Stealth Rock critting, and also the biggest nerf Crustle got in the last patch was less healing of scoring, right? Like, Crustle has no sustain, so his sustain was scoring multiple goals over and over again. So to keep up his split pushing, and since that got nerfed, I think he quietly dropped quite hard. Greninja, I mean, Greninja's just not a good laner. Just should not be played in lane. And that's pretty much it. I think even Gardevoir has better early game now than Greninja does. It's just the problem if you fall a bit behind, or you also have a weak lane partner, you're just gonna be useless, and that's all there is to it. Talonflame, I think Talonflame is a okay laner, just because acrobatics is quite fine, he has good early power spikes. And yeah, he doesn't need insane levels to be useful. So I think he's a fine laner, nothing crazy either. Like, B tier is like okay, I guess. I still would prefer this character in lane over all these characters, so let's put him there. Same for Charizard. Charizard is an okay laner. It depends on always who you lane against. Like, these characters just matter, like, what are you playing against? Are you playing against really tough Ninetales? Well, then have fun, you will never be able to play the game. Do you also play against the Cinderace or a Decidueye in lane? Oh, well, suddenly my character is actually useful. It just always depends on who you lane against, right? And what your opponents draft. But I think B tier for Charizard, it's not bad. He's an okay character. Zeraora, Also drop from A to B tier in the last patch. He got some few more nerfs. If a character that is OP in jungle gets nerfed, obviously they're going to be worse in lane, because in lane they're always a weaker version of the jungle version, right? So gotta drop him down a tier here as well. Cinder Ace, still terrible laner. Should not play this character in lane. Edegos joins Snorlax, and the strong if your team is good. If your team is good, this character is absolutely insane. If not, you're just going to be not being able to do anything. Blastoise, still quite the solid laner. Easily A tier. Probably the best defender in the game, outside of Snorlax. Like, Snorlax depends more on the team, and Blastoise can do more things without his team. So that's why, like in SoloQ, he's a better defender. When it comes to Premade, Snorlax is a better defender. Pikachu I'm going to put in S tier now after the last buff. Even in SoloQ, he's quite strong. But it also depends on your lane partner. Like, if your lane partner is, let's say, a Snorlax, a Mr. Mime, a Wigglytuff, Pikachu is absolutely insane. If your lane partner is a Cinderace, Greninja, you're not going to do much in lane. But now that he can ult every single minute, he can force so many kills and literally have his ultimate at every objective up that you can win a lot of objectives just by him having ult 24/7. And proccing a lot of body barriers and just nuking people across the map. So yeah, Pikachu now joins the S tier. In SoloQ, I would say as well. Then we have Ninetales, which I think is also... If you want to play range attacker in lane, Ninetales is very good. Blizzard Avalanche combo is quite strong. Has very good laning phase, can snowball lanes very hard, can make sure that you win the first dread very hard as well on bot lane. So, and again, if you pair Ninetales with someone that's also good at laning, absolutely insane. You're going to be 2-3 levels up on your opponents, especially if they didn't quite pick good lanes themselves. Wigglytuff, also in the strong if your team is good. I think pretty straightforward. Slowbro. So we're going to put someone in B tier. I think he's quite decent after the last buff. Amnesia Surf is also quite good. So, honestly, solid B tier. I don't think it's higher yet, especially not for SoloQ. It's just he's still not going to carry games, but he's quite useful. Machamp, the B tier is actually quite stacked. Machamp also somewhere in B tier. He's an okay laner. You just need to get level 5 and you can actually be useful. But that's about it. Mamoswine as well, somewhere in B tier. Should I rank these by strength? Probably not. There's just way too many. Like, I'm just gonna put them all in B tier. Mamoswine, promise that he still has pretty bad late game, but his laning phase is super good. And again, if you combine him with someone like Ninetales, Pikachu, he can do quite a lot of things. So maybe, like, if you want to pick something like Mamoswine, just look who you're laning with. If you lane with a Ralts or a Cinderace, just don't pick Mamoswine. If your lane is a Pikachu, a Lucario, a Ninetales, you can probably go ahead and pick Mamoswine and hope that you win your lane very hard. Sylveon, I'm going to drop Sylveon down a tier from S to A, just because Pikachu, Ninetales, I think are better right now. And that kind of, you know, made Sylveon a bit worse, since they're just better attackers. So yeah. Blissey, same category as all of these. If your team is good, Blissey is absolutely insane. Very strong character, but again, you need a team. Greedent is a solid A tier, I would say. Yeah, solid A tier. Still a decent character. Has very good laning phase. Early game power spikes. Can be very annoying. Still a solid SoloQ character. Tsareena I'm going to put somewhere... Like, Tsareena would put between B and A tier in lane. So Tsareena is another character where it just matters who you lane with, right? If you also have a weak lane partner, it's actually going to be quite hard to get level 6. But yeah, as soon as you get to level 6, you're quite a strong character. So it's somewhere between here. I'm just going to put her in lower A tier. Dragonite is the same. Very strong character, but getting level 8 in lane is quite difficult. But I still think he's a quite good character, so I think A tier is solid. And then last of Decidueye, one of the worst laners in the game, has no damage, has okay... I mean, he has a last hitting still. Still a better last hitting skill than Cinderace has, but doesn't really make up for his terrible early game. Also very easily gankable, just dies to almost everything. Absolute terrible laner. These are like the 3 most picked laners, I feel like, in my SoloQ games in lane. Greninja, Cinderace, and Decidueye. And they're just absolutely the worst. It's just that, like, don't pick those characters in lane. Just don't. They're only jungle characters. And in jungle, they're insane, right? But in SoloQ lane, yeah, please try to consider other characters. Alright, so this is the SoloQ lane tier list. Next up, you can take a look at it for a second. Next up, we will have, let me reset this. Next up, we have the Premade lane tier list. Gonna look quite different. I'm just gonna hurry up a bit now, though. Venusaur still S tier, Gengar D tier. I guess in this category I'm gonna have one more tier than in the other one. Like Gengar Premade lane's absolutely terrible. Mr. Mime S tier, Snorlax. Now you can already see Snorlax is in Premade's absolutely insane character, especially after the last buff where he gets level 5 and level 7 abilities and level 9 abilities much earlier. Very, very good character. Gardevoir I think is a B tier as well again, like somewhere between here. They nerfed her quite hard, or like decently nerfed for laning phase. It's still a good jungler, but yeah. Absol and Premates, I mean if you do Q, triple Q, it's probably quite good. In 5-man Premates, it's not very good. Yeah, put this here. Actually, yeah, I mean it's a good dual Q character, right? Good dual Q, triple Q character, but it's not a good 5-man Premade character. I'm just gonna put it somewhere here. Garchomp, absolutely terrible for Premates. Lucario, S tier. Crustle, I'm gonna put Crustle in C tier. Again, also dropped quite a lot of in just by him getting less healing from things. Greninja D tier, Talonflame D tier. Those characters you just don't want to Premade with. I think Charizard is just a better character than these, just because his level 5 is quite strong. But yeah, nothing special. So Aura is a good, like, he's just not a good lane. I'm just gonna put in B tier. I think B tier is fair as well for him. Cinderace, D tier, Eldegoss, S tier, insane character. This might surprise people as well, but I think Cramorant is just a terrible character right now. And I honestly don't... They even nerfed him a bit. He now has like some weird animations that just makes his combos weirder. So the way Cramorant used to work is, when you walked over your surf or something, right, you picked up your fish instantly or you boosted attack, but now he like dives down to pick up his fish, which just makes him very clunky sometimes. He just stands still and walks back into his surf over a poor early game, just to pick up his boosted auto attack. Makes it quite awkward. But honestly, still probably B tier. Blastoise is a solid A tier as well for Premates. Pikachu S tier easily. Ninetales, also solid S tier. Wigglytuff S tier. Slowbro, honestly, I think Slowbro is not that bad in Premates. Actually, I'm gonna put him into A tier if you have good lanes with him. The solid lane partner, he's actually quite good, I think, now. Machamp, put into C tier. Probably also some, like C tier might be a bit too harsh. Probably B tier, honestly. Like if you have someone that can follow up his CC and play around his point and click CC, it's quite good. Mamoswine. Honestly, I think Slowbro is better than Mamoswine, so I'm just gonna put Mamo in higher B tier. Blissey, also insane character for Premates. Sylveon, solid A tier. Greedent. I think Greedent is also still a solid A tier even for Premates. Decidueye is still a terrible laner. Dragonite, solid A tier. Tsareena, also solid A tier. I mean, so the biggest difference, as you can see, I think the tier list is quite the same. It's just that the support and defender characters that are actually like are good with people you lane with and you know and you talk to, just makes them so much better, just straight up, right? Because you know you're gonna get value out of your teammates and you're boosting your good teammates to do even better things. So that is the Premade lane tier list. Honestly, looks quite similar to the SoloQ tier list, I would say. Yeah. Gonna let you guys look at it for a second again. And then we go on to the last tier list, which is gonna be Central or Jungle, whatever you want to call it. I'm just gonna put in both words just so people, you know, don't get confused. So Jungle is weird. I think there's also, maybe I just put too many characters in S tier, but it just shows that there's a lot of good characters to be played. I think Jungle Central is another role where there's so many S tier characters, I don't even know how to rank them correctly. Let me just first put these into categories and then just see how it looks, and maybe then I will adjust it, okay? So Venusaur is the S tier, Gengar, C tier. Maybe I'm just going to do this, you know, you don't jungle with those characters. I don't want it, like, I can't, like, 5 tiers are just too much, I feel like, sometimes. So, don't jungle with these characters. So Gardevoir was S tier last patch. I think Gardevoir was probably still solid A or B tier. Psyshock just got nerfed pretty decently. Mungas got nerfed a bit. Last patch I would have put Gardevoir in S tier. This patch, probably A. Future Sight is also still pretty good. It didn't get nerfed. So I think Gardevoir probably still solid A tier. Absol, solid, like, strong A tier. still pretty good jungler as well, even though like I think in lane, it sounds weird, but I prefer Lane Absol just because I feel like you can roam or you can just do more things in the mid game instead of having to farm your own jungle as much. So yeah, but I mean, it's also very strong in solo queue jungle. It's also very, very good. But again, I don't want to put too many. I'm just going to put her up here for now and then see what happens. In premates, I would put Absol here, but in SoloQ here. So probably the best is actually just putting it somewhere in the middle. Garchomp, probably C tier jungler. Yeah, I mean, he just still lacks things that other characters can do. I would just not jungle with Lucario, it just doesn't make sense. Crusty doesn't jungle. Greninja, easily the S tier jungler. Talonflame, S tier jungler. Charizard is a solid A tier, I would say, in my opinion, for jungle. The problem with Charizard is just there's so many more better junglers than Charizard, but he's still a good character in jungle. That's just the funny part. After the last nerf, I would put Zeraora in high A tier. Probably quite fair. Cinderace. So Cinderace, I had an A tier for like solo queue and pre-made S tier. But now I think Cinderace is also back to S tier and solo queue just because Blaze Kick is super, super good and super insane self-peel. And I've had quite a lot of success with it. So I think Cinderace is back to a solid S tier in both pre-made and solo queue. We don't jungle with these. I think Blastoise can jungle. Probably a solid B tier jungler. Wouldn't recommend doing it, but if you feel like all your entire team just pick damage dealers on all 4 lanes, maybe having some more CC in the tanky jungler might be a choice you want to consider. That's the only reason I'm going to put him here. We don't jungle with these characters. Okay, maybe I shouldn't even have this list up. I'm actually running out of space down here. Decidueye, solid A tier jungler, I would say. He's kind of S tier. He's like S tier in competitive and B tier in, you know, a solo queue. But he's still a pretty good jungler. I would put him somewhere in B tier. Machamp, in A tier. Machamp, B tier, just outclassed by other characters. Especially by other melee characters currently. I still like him a lot, but yeah. We run out of spaces down here, but it doesn't really matter. Sylveon, Mystic Fire is actually not that bad. I would also put it in a solid B tier. Not good enough for A, but Mystic Fire, Draining Kill, Sylveon can be quite fine if you want to play it. And then Dragonite. Dragonite's very strong in jungle. Easily S tier character. Yeah. So jungle just helps him reach his level 8 power spike insanely fast and insanely safe. And if he has a level lead, his Hyper Beam Up just destroys objectives. And yeah, he has very good Dread now control. So if you just get level 8, level 9 for the first Dread, your team will pretty much always win it. Because he does more than 20% of the Dreadnought's HP in one Hyper Beam, right? It's just absolutely crazy. And if you have a level lead out of jungle, then yeah, crazy good character. Greedent, you shouldn't jungle with. Blissey, you don't jungle with. I'm just gonna put them here so you just see the new ones I added here. But yeah, I mean. And then Tsareena is also a strong jungler, easily S tier. Also, jungle again helps her reach her level 6 power spike very fast. If Tsareena has a level lead, she can just 1v3, 1v4 certain characters. And yeah. Her ultimate's also quite nice, actually locking down someone in late game. And yeah, this is just central jungle tier list. I thought about making a pre-made and a solo queue tier list for jungle, but I think there's a lot of similarities between solo queue and pre-made jungling. So yeah, there's just an overall, my opinion on how the jungle currently looks. And maybe I can make this a bit bigger. No, I can't. Okay, there's only like Mamoswine and Slowbro down here, so I mean, just, you know, I shouldn't probably have this category on anyways. Like, these characters just don't jungle, right? So yeah, any character you don't see that's not on here, you just shouldn't jungle with. Very straightforward. Just don't. Doesn't make sense. You're just wasting a lot of XP on a character that might be more important. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys, if you have any questions to my tier list, feel free to ask me in the comments. If you have any suggestions or things you are like, why are you rating this like this? Just feel free to ask me, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye!